Okay, good day. My name's Peter Jordan, and we're back to talk about a little bit more in depth about feelings and get to understand now what happens within us on feelings. And this section that I'm going to talk about on feelings is specifically geared towards people that have been sexually abused. When it is I talk to other people in general that haven't been sexually abused, there's portions of this that I leave out. And that's not because you are worse or whatever it is. No, it's just is because they are because of the nature of the woundings that you've got, the tissues, that it is that there are certain things that trigger you. So it's important for you to understand these. But before we kick off again, I'd like to welcome Chanel back again. Thank you, Chanel, for being with us and sharing some of the insights and the understandings of things. Okay, so in kicking off feelings, we've spoken a bit before about feelings and how they are as sensations in the body. Okay, and when it is that you feel these sensations, you can perhaps give them a color or a shape or something on there just to help you to kind of sort of identify what they are and what these sensations might be telling you, and where in the body do you feel these sensations. Okay, if you had to study your chakras, your energy centers in your body, you'll see that where it is that you feel these feelings, that they are that they are directly linked to the various chakras that you have on them. So that's why it's quite important for you to feel, and you will feel it in different places in your body. Okay. Also, when you're feeling these feelings, pay attention also to your behavior. If you are acting inappropriately or slamming things around in the kitchen or crying at something small, you may be having a feeling that you haven't yet acknowledged. Explore this feeling. It will teach you many things. And yet, another opportunity which is presenting itself to you. One which bears personal gifts of insights and understandings into yourself and your life. These are gifts from heaven just for you, because you are so unique and special. So what I mean by that is that this is a trigger or a something that has been triggered in you. And this trigger is the issue, okay? This is the trigger that's been triggered in you, and this is the issue for you to look at. It's a gift from the universe to say, will you please see me now, look at me, and resolve me? So every time that you've been triggered, it's not a thing to make you angry or to make you anything. It's a gift from the universe saying, please look at this and resolve this. Because the more that you resolve these things, then what happens to them, Chanel?
They go away.
Exactly.
To see them.
Exactly. They go away completely. And the more they go away, the less and less it is that you're going to be triggered, and the less and less it is that you're going to have these outbursts, the less it is that you're going to become angry or have reactions or etc. Okay, on the thing. Now, of course, there's a couple of major ones here. These major ones could be things like trust, okay, which is now going to take quite a while to work through. But many of the other little things, it always helps to work away at the little things and then gradually come to the bigger ones, and then actually sort them out, okay, on things. So, the range of different kinds of feelings that you can have is that you can have a happy feeling one moment, and then you can slide into a whole feeling of anxiety. So when you are feeling these feelings, allow yourself just to feel it. Okay, and think you don't have to do anything about it. Just allow yourself to feel it and say, well, okay, so I was happy and now I'm anxious or something. Okay, and when you allow yourself to feel this and then you understand this, then you have a look at, so what is the thing that is making me feel anxious? Okay, and this is where you must now look at. Okay, so this is my response. This is my trigger that I am feeling, and I'm feeling anxious, and then have a look at where did this come from in my life. So it's a great story is that, as I've said before, the way that you do it, where is this feeling in my body? Well, this feeling is here. What does it feel like? It feels like that. Okay, let me take that feeling, throw it into the corner of the room and have a look at it. And what does that remind me of when I was little? When did this first start to happen in me? Okay, and then have a look at, so when this thing happened, then what was the feeling that I took on about myself then? Okay, so that feeling would be something like, mom shouted at me and I wasn't allowed to say anything, that it wasn't my fault, for instance. Okay, one thing. Very nice trick, this thing. Every feeling is a direct result of something that comes from the subconscious, that it is that you recorded, and this is the very thing that's being triggered. Remember, everything that it is that you have been triggered, this is the thing that you look through. This is the way that you see the world. Okay, and when you see the world this way, you don't see the actual situation. This is you and your projection onto the world around you. Okay, so when you've got that projection onto the world around you, it's you and it's your stuff. And these stuff and these things is the things that you need to be able to clear. Because when you clear this thing, then this thing's not there. Then you can actually see things for what they are and not what you think they are or feel that they are. Okay, and this is the skill of you to develop emotional intelligence, is to understand how do these things work on the inside of you. Okay, so the next part is also for you to understand it is important for you to honor your feelings. When you first become aware of the simple, pure feelings or emotions that move through you, all of you must be aware of, I am feeling a feeling. If you feel sad, then let yourself feel sad without worrying or panicking about it. And also without needing to take any kind of action. You can just let it be. And it will always go away in time. And it's okay just to feel sad. In fact, this is what it is that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to feel this way. Okay? One thing. Feelings aren't dangerous, and you can't get sick from them. Most people find that once they started feeling, feeling isn't as bad as what they feared it would be. Feelings exist in and of themselves. But when you're not used to them, having a feeling or an emotion that you can't tie to a concrete event can be frightening. Okay? It's reassuring to understand why you feel a certain way or where that feeling originates. But that's not always possible. Even if you don't figure it out, the feeling still counts. Don't disregard your feelings. Value them and believe your feelings. Valuing and believing in your feelings takes time, okay? Because this is a skill that you need to learn. But eventually you'll stop seeing feelings as something separate from yourself. It becomes a natural process and a normal thing to do, and that is to express your feelings. It's the nature of feelings to ebb and flow, to change. You can't be furious 1 hour and sad the next, and full of love an hour later. Pain turns into rage, and rage into relief. If feelings are not jammed up, they shift with a natural rhythm that matches your experience in the world. Paradoxically, the best ways to get rid of a feeling is to feel it fully. When you accept and express a feeling, it often transforms itself. So the fear of saying something, or the fear of interacting, or the fear of seeing somebody, when it is that you interact with them, that feeling just transforms itself into something else. That's what happens with feelings. It's almost like a fire hose. When it's plugged up, the internal pressure is explosive. Water bursts forth in a strong jet stream. But when the water is flowing and the pressure is even, the water rushes steadily out through the hose and it just does its job. Okay, so don't hold it, don't back it. Just allow yourself that feeling and honor those feelings in you. When you're working with long denied feelings, the transitions won't happen as quickly as they will with contemporary feelings. But all feelings, once released, eventually change. So the feeling of expressing yourself, or the feeling of getting it out right, or the feeling of that, the more it is that you do it, it is that it changes all by itself, because you are honoring those feelings. You get that? Okay, great stuff. All right. So the next one is to get support for your feelings. And this is so important, because it is that you guys really struggle. And I mean in general, and I don't mean it in a negative way. It is that you guys really struggle to find somebody that understands you and understands the feelings and understands what is going on with you. So this is the kind of support that it is that you need. If your feelings were denied or criticized in childhood, it may take a while before you feel safe enough to express your feelings. Many women and men first experience this safety often with a counselor. And it is, in many instances, people learn to express their feelings when they work with me. They express their feelings with them and say, I didn't know that I could do this, and I didn't know that I could do that, and just express it. So yeah, that it is the way that you're supposed to be. And that's going to come in our next session of things that we're going to do. And we're going to do lots of those of expressing our feelings backwards and forwards. So we'll come up with some kind of experience, and you will express your feelings, and then I will do the same. And then as we do that, I get to understand how you feel about this particular thing, and you get to understand how I feel about this thing. And as we do this more and more, you're going to start to realize that, wow, now I actually understand a whole lot more. And then it is that I feel actually that I can do this. And we say, yeah, yes, you can. But it's a skill to learn. Okay, being with people who respect your feelings and who you are in touch with and who are in touch with their own feelings can speed your learning process. Through feedback, example, and tenderness, you can learn to connect with your own feelings. And again, I just say, this is just a skill, and it's just to overcome this fear. That's all it is. Okay, one thing. Although it's good to have loving, supportive people around you when you start to connect with your feelings, over time you'll feel safe enough to open yourself up and just naturally be you. In your mind or out loud, you can tell yourself the comforting things that others have told you and say, it's okay to cry, or it's okay to be unhappy, or it's okay to be hurt. Okay? You have a right to your anger, or you have a right to be upset, or you have a right to be hurt. By calling on the part of yourself that can nurture you to stand up for you, you provide a wise and kind mother or father figure for yourself, for that frightened, hurt, little angry child within you. You can stroke your own hair, or rock yourself in a rocker, or make yourself a warm cup of milk and honey, or set pillows out to punch. Whatever it is that you do is good enough for you. You can become your own catalyst, your own midwife, and your own permission giver. That you can give yourself permission to do this, to do that, to do all sorts of kinds of things, and say, it's okay for me to do it. Quite interesting. So the next one to talk about is communicating your feelings. So once you start to feel your feelings, you may still have a hard time expressing them. There is no single way to show feelings. Everyone has his or their own individual style. But it's important to be able to express what you feel in a way that is satisfying and that communicates. Certain ways of communicating feelings increase the likelihood that you will be heard. Okay, this is one of the big blocks that you guys have, is that you feel that nobody hears you. If you say, I'm upset, and it's imperative that you use the word I, okay, because you're stating how I feel. I feel upset. Not you make me feel upset. It's how I feel. Okay? Again, that way you will be able, you enable others to take cognizance of your feelings and can then do something about it. But when you start off with you saying, you make me feel so and so, then you are blaming others for how you are feeling. This is often creates conflict. When you are late and you haven't called, you say, I worry, please call me next time. You probably get a better response if you say, you are the most thoughtless person I've ever met. You never care about my feelings. There is a huge difference in approach between the two, and the results are often outstanding to the survivor to realize. So you state, this is what it is, how I feel. I feel this, I feel that, okay? When you go the other way and the you and the blame, then it creates drama, it creates conflict, and then you wonder why is there always conflict around? And a lot of it is because people don't understand how you feel. See, so simple. You just got to speak it. That's all. So timing is also important. Okay. If you have something to say that's important or vulnerable, don't undermine yourself by picking a time that is not conducive to real listening. Give yourself and your friend the benefit of a fair start. Okay, that expression. So, boyfriend or husband just walks in from the door. If you don't, from work, you don't just suddenly pounce in him. You choose your timing as to when it is. So sometime after dinner or something, or there's an issue with mom. Then it is when you go to mom. Then it is you express this thing at mom. You don't jump on the phone and suddenly bah, 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 bah. Okay, that just creates all sorts of kinds of drama. So the next interesting thing to talk about is this thing called developing discernment. In an ideal world, you could express your real feelings anywhere and at any time. Since we don't live in such a world, you need to make a balanced decision each time you consider whether to express your feelings. Balanced decisions consider feelings, intellect, and judgment. Getting angry at a police officer, for instance, who pulls you over for a ticket, isn't a strategically sound way of going about life. Okay? If you want to be intimate with somebody, you must express your feelings. But not all relationships are intimate. So there's things that you've got to judge when and what. Okay? If you are entitled, not if, you are entitled to your feelings and discern in which situations these are appropriate to express. Sometimes speaking with people who may understand or share similar views, for example, can be a starting point to begin to gain confidence in expressing your feelings more. Sometimes someone may not like what it is that you have to say, and this does not make your feelings wrong, despite the different reactions from different people. Each feeling has a right to be and to be expressed. Where and how that happens may need practice and fine tuning. And like any skill, it takes time to learn or to master. Be patient and be kind with yourself through the process. Choose your times. Choose the times where it is that you say that, okay? But if we don't talk about it, then it's not something that is said. It's not something that it is that you can recognize, okay? One thing. Now, this part, the next one that I want to talk about is the emotional release work, something that is holding on the inside, that you're holding this, that you're not, or you've got a fear of expressing this thing. To release this from the body, there are quite a few different kinds of things that you can do. And in between this one and the next one, I'm going to give you emotional release exercises. But in the first one is I just want to talk about the emotional release work that you can do. Recognizing and expressing contemporary feelings is often easier than getting in touch with buried feelings from childhood. Yet part of the healing process entails going back and feeling those feelings to help one with unblocking and clearing that which holds you back. So this is the tissue, okay? And this is the thing that comes back, or that comes to you from a long time ago, okay? You need to gain new insights and perspectives on these and then release them. And when you do this, this is when you set yourself free. One useful tool for clearing out old feelings is emotional release work. Because memories and feelings are stored in the body, working through feelings physically can provide a powerful adjunct to talking. With proper safeguards and responsible helping person to support you, emotional release work is a powerful and active way to get rid of emotional baggage. Now, such therapies where you could do this is such things as like bioenergetics or rebirthing, or some kind of primal therapy, or even some kind of psychodrama, which includes emotional release work, okay? Because this kind of work is active and intense, and sometimes it takes people back in time to the original abuse. It is important to have the supervision of an experienced support person who is comfortable with the expression of deep pain of somebody who's going through this. Okay, so that's where it is that somebody who would come and work with me, if they've got these pent-up feelings, I would hold like a cushion like this, okay? And I would say, are you really angry with this person? Yes. Well then, okay, what do you want to do with this person? Well, I'd like to punch him or her in the face. So, okay, well, punch him, okay? And then I would say, is that all you got? Okay, and then say, well, punch him again. And I say, no, come on now, this is now time for you to actually get this out. And then it goes bang, 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 bang. Okay, and that helps to release this thing from the body. But it is that if you try and get that with somebody else who doesn't understand what this is and this expression of this pain or this blockage in the person, they could become triggered. So you need to work with somebody that understands you and your feelings, that you need to release these feelings. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Just recap on all the ways that you can release your feelings. Just recap on that.
Okay, there are different kinds of methodologies, okay, on the thing. It's important to understand that that there is no one way to healing. Okay, there's not to say that you've got to do it my way, or you got to do it that way, or you got to do it whatever way works for you is really important. And it's important for you to try different ones and find which is the way that it can actually work for you. Okay, on a thing. So some of the release exercises. So for instance, for anger, with the support of a person present, take a tennis racket and whack it against a mattress or your bed, okay? Because when you take the tennis racket and you whack it against the bed, there's that loud noise.
So whenever a feeling comes up, you need to get it out and before you suppress it.
Yes, okay, but it's not, when I want to say not when any feeling comes up, when it is this feeling of anger.
Yes.
Okay, so when it is that you feel really angry, then take a tennis racket, go to the bedroom. Yeah, go to the bedroom and then and you will see. You'll see, as soon as you do this a couple of times, it releases these things, okay? And, if you need to use sounds or words or whatever it is, or a little bit of colorful language, well, then use it, okay? Whatever it is that you need to say and think. And as you let...
find your way to express them a little bit differently, like physically. Okay, understand.
Okay, one thing, yeah. So use these sounds or words if you feel them, let them out. And you could start with.
I'm angry, I usually walk away. But I used to, before I walked away, I used to scream and yell and do the anger part. Now I remove myself, but I would actually think if you are suggesting this, do something physically to actually just like around.
Yeah. Okay. Now some people find it very useful to take the tennis racket. Okay.
Yes.
I used to find is that, the tennis racket didn't work for me. I loved the broomstick because the broomstick was long and hard and I could really bang it down. Okay. And it gave that nice, particularly if the broomstick hit nice and square on the bed, it gave that nice sound. And that broke the thing in me. Okay. So it's really, and don't feel bad about it, and don't feel shy about it or something, because when it is that you release this out of you, then you've released it from your body. Okay, and then it is that you will feel afterwards. You feel, oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay, then you feel that it's gone from you. Okay, then of course you need to do the work to understand what is the tissue, what is the thing that you need to release. Okay. Go and have a look at what is that feeling and then resolve that feeling. And if you can't resolve it yourself, and so in the early years, it's going to be, or the early periods, it's going to be difficult because it's a skill that you need to learn. And always just find somebody who could help you. Somebody who has some kind of knowledge. They don't have to be a specialist, okay? That has some kind of knowledge to say, well, this and this happened. What could be the feelings that I took on about myself with this kind of situation? And then that will give you more and more insight into yourself. And the more you do that, the more it is that you will be able to get to the point that you can say, it's this or it's that, okay? Then you've got something to work with. Okay, so the next one then is if you got a feeling of grief, okay, the grief, say, about the death of a loved one or the death of a pet or something that has happened, okay, something that generates a feeling of grief. And if you feel like crying but are stuck, allow your breath to help you to connect your feelings with the expression. Exaggerate the breathing pattern, for example, long exhales or shaky inhales, okay? And adding some sounds to it if you can. If tears do not come, it's still okay. Notice the feelings, the thoughts, and the sensations you do have. For tension, use your body or wrestle with a friend or chop wood or swim or something. Okay, so that's if there's tension or anxiety or something, okay? Use your body in some way. I want to go a little bit back to the thing with grief. There is a wonderful technique that I use with clients that have feelings of grief. And that is that I take my fist like that and I get them to lean against my fist where the heart area is. Okay, so you lean like that. This is the heart area here. And you lean like that against this person, and this person, this one, has I've got to hold your weight because you must lean your weight onto this person so as to that you're forced to trust them to hold you up. Okay, and as you lean into that and you just stay like that for a while, you will feel the grief pain in the heart will start to dissipate. And what happens is that the grief pain in the heart, when there is grief around it, is that your aura has been torn. When it is that you are leaning like that against it on there, then it is that as you put pressure on the heart, then the energy field reseals itself. Okay, and as it reseals itself afterwards, you will feel a whole lot better. Guaranteed. It works every time. Okay, so the next one is to talk about is the fear of feeling. Many survivors fear that if they open up their feelings, they will suddenly go out of control. Although you may indeed be very angry or very sad for a long time, those feelings don't have to be overwhelming or journeyed on alone. When you've expressed feelings for a long time, it's natural to be, when you have repressed your feelings for a long time, it's natural to be very wary about expressing my feelings. Just because you've had strong feelings doesn't mean you'll be able to, or that you will be unable to control yourself. This is where pounding pillows furiously does not mean that you've gone berserk. In fact, actively expressing intense feelings in a safe, structured way makes it less likely that you will explode. Very few murderers kill their victims after coming out of a pillow pounding session with a counselor or a support group. Okay, because of that anger is gone. So, the next one to talk about is controlling abusive anger. If you find yourself slapping children or yelling at co-workers or being furious with a partner or a boyfriend or something, okay, for small trespasses of daily life, you are probably misdirecting your anger. Although you may feel anger, although it may be anger triggered in the present that is appropriate to the current situation, you may also be tapping into a well of old rage from childhood. When the two blurs, you tend to react in ways that are out of proportion to what is going on. As soon as you become aware that your feelings do not fit the present situation, take a break, excuse yourself from the situation, and try to separate the old from the new. This is difficult. It will help to do some emotional release work. So you have the opportunity to express your old rage in an active and focused way. This is also true for other kinds of feelings, such as the feeling of being rejected or abandoned or even being hurt. When we use violence, violence is a way to assert power over others. It's effective in the short run, but it is at too great a cost. If you cannot heal from the effects of the child's sexual abuse while continuing to perpetuate abuse on others. Let me try it again. You cannot heal the effects of the child's sexual abuse while continuing to perpetrate abuse on others. If you're in a situation where you are battering someone or being battered by someone, if you find yourself fighting or in a dangerous situation, you need to stop now and get help from a supportive counselor, such as myself or somebody else, as quickly as you can. Okay? But it takes a skill to recognize that I am doing this to somebody because it was done to me. Okay, whatever the anger is, whatever the abuse is, whatever it is. Okay, when it is that this is happening to you and you recognize it, then it is time to get in touch with somebody and get them to help you. That's a very, very important point. Whenever it is that you lose it, do that. Okay, so the next one to talk about is panic and panic attacks. Panic is what you feel when you get scared by your own emotions and don't have the skills to calm yourself down, or when you're trying like mad to suppress feelings or memories. Although panic sometimes seems to come out of the blue, there is always a trigger. Often it is a reminder of your abuse that you aren't consciously aware of. Through therapy and support within a counseling setting, one can work with and move through frightening feelings. This is nothing to be ashamed of. Remember, every feeling has its place and it has a right to be expressed. It's how one chooses to express and resolve the unwanted emotions that will determine the quality of one's life and in the future. By allowing unresolved and frightening feelings to emerge, and through actively working through these in a safe and nurturing environment, one can further empower oneself by resolving internal conflicts. Through the therapy process and by honoring the space, time, and process of therapy, for example, one often opens up to deep levels of compassion for themselves and others through the understanding one gains through this process. Now I know that a lot of it might seem a bit strange, but it is true that when it is that you go through this thing and you start to see what was happening, and then you start to look at the picture out around you, then you start to, it's a natural thing that happens, that compassion naturally comes up, okay, and that you can start to understand and know what was going on and why. Okay, one thing. In a panic attack, you are usually not aware of these connections. You simply feel out of control and sometimes irrational. Feelings of dying can accompany the panic. Your heart is racing. Your body feels as though it's going to explode. You want to run and sometimes feel shaky on the inside. For example, even your visions may change. You may fear going crazy, and not understanding what is going on only makes things worse. If you start to feel panicky, sit with the feeling. Often people think that they must do something quickly to get away from this scared feeling. But this frenzy to escape can escalate your fear rather than relieve it. Don't rush into action. Instead, reassure yourself that this is just a feeling. Yes, it is a powerful one too. Okay. In those moments, saying a phrase like, "This too will pass," or something like, "I am safe," can assist in helping one to calm down in the short term. For the long term, lasting effects, one can choose to engage in some kind of trauma therapy to release the old traumas which may have gotten stuck or be frozen in the body somewhere. Okay, and move through the unresolved motions, for example. Thus, likely to trigger into overwhelm or panic attacks once the underlying issues have been addressed. Acting out of panic makes for poor choices. Putting your hands through a glass window or driving too fast or screaming at your boss can have a long-term negative consequence. This kind of behavior is subject to the law of cause and effect. There are always consequences to what it is that you have caused. Learn to work with this law rather than against it. Going against it just ends up costing you more and more. You need to call on your judgment, what you know to be true when you are scared, to guide you. Expressing feelings when you are extremely frightened can free you from that fear, but only if you're in a setting that is safe. A therapy group is a good place to get in touch with the deeply buried feelings. Driving home isn't a good idea. You could probably drive safely while feeling some sadness or even yelling into the night. But if you're not relieving the terror of being raped, this is simply not going to work. If you decide it isn't a good time to express or act on your feelings, take steps to calm yourself down and find ways of allowing yourself the time and the space to work through the feelings in a safe and supportive environment. So, the ways it is that you can calm down, okay? The most effective way to deal with panic is to catch it early. Once the panic spirals out of control, it's more difficult to stop. But at least you can keep yourself focused in a positive direction so you don't hurt yourself or others in the process. The most important thing in calming down is to do whatever works for you, even if it seems silly or embarrassing. It doesn't matter. It's what works for you that is important. Through trial and error, you can develop a list of things that help. Try including comfort for as many of the senses as possible. Okay, this being the senses being feeling, hearing, sight, taste, smell. Okay, those are the senses. Actually, write a list and keep it handy. You don't think as clearly or creatively when you're in a panic. If it's all written out, all you have to do is pick up the list, start at the top, and work your way down. A simple list could look something like this. Things to do when I'm desperate. Breathe. Okay, now the breathing side is there's many different ways that you can breathe, but one of the things when you're in a panic type situation is to breathe into a plastic or a paper bag, and you just breathe backwards and forwards like that. So what happens in that is as you breathe in and out, that becomes full of carbon dioxide, and as you breathe the carbon dioxide in, it kills the feeling in the body about you being able to feel these feelings, okay? And that's why it is that you calm down. Another way to breathe is to breathe slowly through your nose to the count of 4, then hold it to the count of 4, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth to the count of 4, and then hold your breath so that it's completely empty to the count of 4, and then go through the cycle again. By the time you do that for the 3rd time, you will be completely settled. Okay, so any kind of anxiety, let's say it's a exam anxiety, or you're in a confined place kind of anxiety, that these are the things, the breathing things that you can do. If you don't have a paper bag with you, this is your next best thing. Okay, other things could be, well, get my teddy bear or put on some kind of relaxation tape, okay, or music or something. Get into a rocking chair or call a friend, and call another friend if the first one's not available, and keep going through your friends until you find somebody that you can talk to. Or, find your dog or your cat and stroke the dog or the cat, okay? Or perhaps even take a hot bath. Or even something simple like writing down 100 times, I feel safe, I am safe, I love myself and others love me. Or it's safe for me to relax now. Whatever works for you. Run around the block if it means, okay? Listening to soothing music. You could pray or whatever. So there's the kind of list of things that it is that you can do. Another very important thing for you to do is to create a safe spot for yourself. Now, this safe spot could be in your home, or it could be in the garden, or it could be at a park, or it could be at any kind of place where it is that you can go to this spot and there it is you feel safe. Some people create like a altar in the home somewhere, and then they can go and sit there by the altar and just be there, and it is there they can feel safe. Or if it means that you feel safe in your bathtub, well then go and lie in the bath, okay? Whatever it is, it's important that you find this safe spot. Sometimes it is just sitting on the windowsill, looking out at the traffic or looking out at people outside, sort of that thing being protected from the outside elements, sitting by the window and just observing could be a safe spot for you. So find something like that for you. It's a wondrous place to be in, because as you sit there a bit longer, you find the feelings all just dissipate. And then as they go, then it is you can be there and then you can relax. And when you are contained, then it is you can go and rejoin the world. Another way is to consciously change your environment. Okay, so where it is that you are, if this is creating anxiety for you, go somewhere else, or go into the park, or go into the garden, or go into a different part of the house. Or actually, that's not such a good idea. If you're in a home and it is where it is that it's a place of tension for you, then go and visit a friend. Go into a different kind of environment, and something that you can do where it is that you can just be. Because, it's like a funny thing, is that when it is that you fly and you take off and you're up there in the air, it is that you get a completely different perspective on things, on the way that the things that it is that you're leaving behind. Okay, this is one of the reasons why it is that we all should take vacations. The vacation is for you to go to a different environment, and when you're there, then you can look back, and then you can look back and say, I need to change this, I need to do that, but when you're in it, you have difficulty seeing it. When you're out of it, then it is, that's actually quite easy. I need to change this, I need to do this, I need to, whatever it is that you need to do. So to change your environment is a really, really important thing to do. I don't say that you got to get in the airplane every time to fly here and there, but that's also one of the reasons why pilots love their job so much, because when they're up there, the whole world changes for them as to the way that they see life. Ask any pilot and they will tell you that. The next thing that is important for you to do is when you're changing your environment is to reach out. Reach out to somebody that can help you, that can understand you, that this person is a trustworthy person. Reach out to them, be with them, call them, or if it's really something that you are struggling with and you need more professional help, then find somebody who can help you. Just that talking about these things and getting somebody to put it into perspective for you helps so much. And as it helps so much, then you start to realize that you're not crazy, or you're not needy, or you're not anything else like this. It is that you're reaching out, you've got a different perspective on it, you've healed that part, and then it is you can move on. So the other thing to talk about is, feelings, positive feelings, and expressing of positive feelings can be scary also. Over time, your positive feelings will increase more and more. Such things as happiness or excitement or satisfaction or even love or security and hope will appear more and more frequently. All these are good feelings, okay? Now, we need to distinguish. There's no such thing as a good feeling or a bad feeling. So when you say good feeling, you say, well, this is a positive feeling, okay? Or there's a negative feeling. Because, when you say good or bad, then it is, well, if you're having a bad feeling, then, well, I shouldn't have the bad feeling. No, no, no. You must allow yourself to have that feeling, okay, on a thing. For many survivors, positive feelings are also scary. As a child, happiness often signaled a disaster about to or soon to occur. Okay, this is often a thing. So something good is happening. So where is the bad thing that you kind of you're scanning the horizon? Where is the bad thing coming from? Okay, if you were playing with your friends when your uncle called you in and molested you, if you were sleeping peacefully when your father abused you, or if you were having Sunday dinner at your grandparents when you were taken by surprise and humiliated, you learned that happiness was not always to be trusted. If you pretended to be happy when you were suffering inside, happiness may feel like a sham to you still. Even the idea that you might at some time feel good and can be a threatening feeling, okay? One woman said that she dared not to hope. One woman that was talking to me. As a child, she hoped day after day that her father might come home cheerful, might be nice to her, and might stop abusing her. Day after day, she was disappointed. Finally, out of self-preservation, she gave up hope. And she told herself that life is unsafe. This became her belief system. And as she acted out this belief system for the rest of her life, until she actually dealt with it. Okay, these are the kinds of things that happens. Sometimes peacefulness and contentment are the most disconcerting feelings of all. Calm may also be totally unfamiliar, that you don't know how to relax and enjoy it. Unexpected good feelings can be hard to come to terms with. Often what happens when this is a wounding of yours is that most people find things to do or subconsciously create some kind of drama around them so that they can say to themselves, you see, it's true. You cannot trust these positive feelings in you. Learning to tolerate good is one of the nicest parts of healing. Once you get started, you may find that you want to do it a lot. When this happens, take all of the opportunities that come your way. For instance, while taking a quiet moment, drinking tea in the morning, or reading your child a bedtime story, or get involved in get involved in a totally engrossing movie, or just even calling a friend just to say hello, okay, or just to talk about the omelette that turned out perfect this morning. Notice these things. Take the risk of admitting that you feel good for a moment, and then for longer, and then for longer, and then for longer. Okay? Okay. So these are really important for you to work with. And then just to round things off, this is that there are things like positive affirmations, that it is, and there are many books around, and there are many things on the internet where it is that you can use positive affirmations for yourself. And a positive affirmation, there's a couple of good rules that you need to follow. All of them, you must try and put in the word I in that positive affirmation if you can, because you say something like, I am only responsible for how I feel, and I am entitled to my own feelings. Or something different like, I am not responsible for how others feel. They are fully responsible for their own feelings. I am responsible for my own happiness. I can resolve these things for myself. I honor my own feelings. I respect myself. All of those are different kinds of affirmations. And it's important to find something like that that would really, really help you. Okay, things like I choose happiness, or I choose joy, or I am an expression of creativity, love, and peace, or I am love, or I am peace. And with that, I am at peace with what it is I have delivered. And so that brings us to the end of all sorts of things around feelings. I know that it was a bit of a long one, but it is that there are so many different aspects around feelings and to around yourself to feel these things, and also to acknowledge that these are the things that go on not only in you, but they go on in almost every sexual abuse survivor. Every one of you. Okay, you can overcome these things. It is just a skill to talk. It's a skill to learn. It's a skill to express. It's a skill to understand your feelings. In the next session, we now get to actually finding out how do these feelings and what are these feelings in the body, and how to go about learning it and expressing it. And this is where we have lots of fun. Chanel, you and me, we're going to express lots of feelings.
I can't wait.
Have you got anything to add to all of these things, Chanel, that we spoke about?
I'm looking forward to grow these feelings inside of me and understand them without them controlling me.
You understand?
There's a lot of truth in there, hey?
Yeah, no, and there is, okay. I mean, to put something like this together has taken me a long time and lots of experience to draw on, okay, in speaking to various people on there. Now, the thing is if I can do this and if I can put this together, and there was a time in my life when I was just of a group of 4 boys. You know, 4 boys aren't exactly the most expressive of feelings. Okay, so our 4 boys, out of the 4 boys, if I can go and grow through this thing and go and eventually put something like this together, then so can you. And so can everybody who is watching this thing. It's not that I'm a bright spark or that I'm anything else. It is that I did have help to put this together, and I had input from a lot of people on it, and put it all together. Okay, took time, but it can be done. And the thing is, if I can do it, you can do it, and that's the thing I want to leave you with. Everybody can do it, and the more it is that you do it, the better is that your life becomes. Straightforward. It's simple stuff. This is not a complicated, this is not even rocket science. This is just understanding this. That's all you got to do, is understand this and how does this work.
Yeah, to be able to take control of it.
Exactly.
And understand it. And to take full
Chanel, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.